told the weather outside is not that cold. And if you take my hand, I'll walk with you to Georgia.
Hello and welcome to Country with Celine. I am your host, Celine, and on today's show, we have a guest who's no rookie to the music scene. She's opened up for acts such as Florida Georgia Line, Miranda Lambert, and country music legend George Jones. She recently just released 2 hit singles after they took off on TikTok, and she's got 2 more in store. So please welcome Sydney Mack.
Hey pretty boy, you were pretty sure it was gonna work out for you. Like my heart didn't have a choice, and you thought you had me wrapped around your finger, that you thought I'd always be here. I know it hurts like hell, but sometimes love ain't pretty, boy.
Sydney, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Honestly, everything kind of feels like a dream right now. So even being here right now just feels like a dream. It's been an incredible past 2 months.
You're living on cloud 9, as they would say.
Yes, absolutely. No question.
And like I said, you posted 2 songs on TikTok, Pretty Boy and Don't Call. Now, Pretty Boy, that one went viral as viral can be. Over 600,000 views just on that one video, and you kept making more and more and more. So you finally released the song on March 25th, and it, like I said, it blew up. So take us through the making of that song.
So I wrote that song with Wade Kirby and Shane Miner, and so first of all, it started out because I saw a quote, and the quote said, "Instead of worrying about being pretty, we should worry about being pretty kind, pretty smart, pretty funny, and pretty strong." Mm-hmm. And I was, of course, at first I'm like, yes, amen. Okay. Like that is, everyone worries about that, especially on social media, like that
Mm-hmm.
kind of polished whatever. And I thought kindness is really pretty. Like we should focus on that. But then for whatever reason, the phrase pretty boy, the term pretty boy popped into my head. And I was like, that'd be an interesting song, but I don't want to do it in a way that is, man bashing, so to speak, where it's like, oh, he's just a pretty boy. Like that's all he's good for. So I was trying to come up with different ways to present it to different co-writers and couldn't really think of anything. And that day that I wrote with those 2 guys, I brought that idea up just out of the blue. And I think it was Wade actually. And he was like, what if it was something like, love ain't pretty boy? And just that turn on that phrase made all the difference. And I had already had a couple of you're pretty good at leaving, pretty good at coming back,
Mm-hmm.
all of those kind of plays on words with the word pretty. And we wrote that song pretty quickly, honestly, and then went into the studio and recorded it, and then just posted it on TikTok randomly because I was just trying to see hey, what songs might connect with people. And I got my answer really quickly.
You got your answer. That song connects with a lot of people, especially girls, because the way how it's worded, pretty boy, this pretty, right? So it's more for girls than for guys. But TikTok is such a perfect platform to release music, to tease it and see the response, because you have 2 more new singles coming out now, and that's exactly what you did. You kind of tested the waters, see how it was, and now you're going to release them. So one's called Medicine, and the other one's called Dark Horse. Now, they're kind of on 2 different spectrums, because Medicine's more along the lines as, oh, a boy, like my ex-boyfriend, karma's a bitch. It's gonna, oh, excuse my language, karma's gonna get you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then Dark Horse is more about, oh, this knight in shining armor, guy came out of the blue and swept me off my feet. So I have to ask you, do you have a dark horse? Is there a dark horse?
I do. And I have to say that song, I wrote it about him. Breakup songs are a lot easier to write. I don't know why, because I'm happily married, but for whatever reason, I think it's because I can, live in that, bring up old stuff and kind of get, tell that story. But no, Dark Horse is about my husband, Eric, and it's a really long story, but the bottom line is we met, I was dating someone, and after that guy and I broke up, Eric and I, went on a date, and I knew immediately. And it's there's a line in the song that's, you played it patient, slowly making moves I underestimated. And it's just that, like, we were both kind of on the same path, and we were going to find each other. It was just a matter of when. And that's what that song is about. And it's so special to me. And I really honestly can't believe that I get to release it and that it has connected with so many people.
You played it patient, slowly making moves I underestimated. 100 to 1. Who knew you'd be the one? You were a dark horse. Never saw you coming, but you and I were running the same course, looking for the finish line. Who says the long way is the wrong way? If we end up in the right place, you were everything I didn't know I was waiting for. You were a dark horse.
You know, that's so funny. Your husband's name is Eric. My boyfriend's name is Eric. And he was kind of my knight in shining armor. He was the dark horse. So that's really funny. That
it might be a sign. I don't know. I'm just saying.
It might be a sign to you. Wow. Okay, so let's get to know you. Oh, that's actually really funny. Let's get to know you a bit more. Where did you grow up?
I am originally from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and came to Nashville via Belmont University. I kind of call that the catalyst because there was no way in hell my parents were going to be like, yeah, you're 18, sure, go to a big city and chase a dream, you know, knowing nobody. So went to college, studied music business, interned at management companies, publishing companies, got to see the behind the scenes and the business side of the music business. But I always knew that this is what I wanted to do. I needed a vehicle to get there.
You needed a vehicle to get there. How was it like working behind the scenes for management companies and record labels?
It was eye-opening for sure. You know, I believe in like the school of life. You know, I think having experiences, diving right in, baptism by fire, if you will. I think that's really the best way to learn. You can, you know, like I loved Belmont. I learned a whole lot in school, but it was really those experiences, you know, just looking at like contracts and writers, and especially on the publishing side, like seeing how all of that works because I'm a songwriter too. I didn't know anything about any of that before I went to school and before I started interning. So it was definitely eye-opening, but it also was like motivating because I wanted to be on the other side, you know? So it was a real motivator for me to be honest, because I was like, I don't want to be, you know, working on the management side. I want to be managed. Someone manage me, please.
So you went to Belmont University. Were your hopes to be a singer, or was it to be it was to be a singer then?
Definitely. Yeah.
And then you went and you interned because I guess obviously to get more experience, because that's how you learn. It's exactly like college. You hands-on experience.
Yep.
And then you finally decided to actually start pursuing it. Is that how that happened?
Sort of. So I actually started as a voice major at Belmont, and then I saw all of my friends who were in music business, you know, getting to intern, and I really wasn't able to do that as a voice major. So I switched majors, took classes over the summer so I could graduate on time. I was a bit of a late bloomer when it comes to actually, you know, like performing with a band and all of that kind of stuff. I always knew I wanted to be a country artist, but I was late in starting that whole thing because I really didn't know where to start. Like I didn't grow up playing in bars when I was, you know, 14 or 15 or anything like that. So I really started playing full band shows when I was in college.
Well, I mean, everything happens for a reason, right? So if you were destined to go and become a country singer, it would have happened no matter what age you were.
Yep, that's exactly right. And it's, you know, I've learned a lot, and I don't think coming to school or coming to Nashville as an 18-year-old, I was not ready. I needed to like go into a little cocoon for a while and come out as the butterfly, because I wasn't confident enough. I didn't know what I wanted to say. I didn't really know who I was. And so I got to I got to live a little bit, and I learned a lot, and just writing from those experiences, I wouldn't have had these songs had I not had those experiences. So I totally believe everything happens for a reason.
Exactly. At 18 years old, you think you know it all, but honestly, you don't know nothing. You're still like,
Yeah.
Were you surrounded by music your entire life growing up?
I was. My mom, she sings. I mean, I grew up singing with her. We listened to the Judds like nobody's business. I was Winona, she was Naomi. We were singing Grandpa Tell Me About the Good Old Days ever since I can remember. And my grandma Yell, actually, she was very musical as well. So she was a yodeler, like a hobby yodeler. But yeah, there was always music playing. My grandpa was really into big band and Frank Sinatra. So he introduced me to, Frank Sinatra and Joe Williams, and I introduced him to Justin Timberlake and Shania Twain. So it worked out great.
I love the contrast. I love that.
Yes.
So who would you say would be your dream collaboration? I'm guessing it'd be someone that you just mentioned.
I absolutely adore, like, 3 of my favorite female artists are Patsy Cline, Winona Judd, and Trisha Yearwood.
Yeah.
But actually, Trisha Yearwood is the reason I went to Belmont. I learned about it when I was auditioning for American Idol when I was 16. And the woman in line behind us was like, "Have you started looking at colleges yet?" And I said, I was thinking maybe I'd go to, Pitt or WVU or like NYU. I didn't know. I really didn't know about Belmont. And she was like, "Well, have you heard about Belmont? Trisha Yearwood went there." And as soon as she said that, I was like, done. Stop. Where do I sign up? So I would say probably Trisha Yearwood or Chris Stapleton.
Oh,
yeah.
Every single person that you just listed would be a top 5 contender. Like, those are really good people. Trisha Yearwood. I just finished watching Garth Brooks' documentary on Netflix, and it was really interesting. I'm sure you've watched it.
I haven't. No.
Not on Netflix, on Prime. You have to watch it.
Yes.
It's really, he's such a down-to-earth guy, but so is Trisha Yearwood. And it's so funny, the story on how they met. It's really interesting. I'm sure you're going to love that. But American Idol. Okay. Season 14 of American Idol, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right.
That was interesting. How was that? How did you go far in it? Where was it?
So the first time I auditioned, I was 16. So that was years before that. But when I got a golden ticket to go to Hollywood. It was J-Lo, first of all. Like, what? Yeah. J-Lo, Harry Connick Jr., or as I call him, H. Connie Jr. I love his Christmas album. Like, that's a whole nother story. And Keith Urban, which, again, like, also he would be another great collaborator, by the way. He's fantastic.
Put it out there.
Yeah, just let's manifest right now. Let's do it.
I'm all for it.
But yeah, so I auditioned in Nashville. I was one of, I think it was like 72 people out of 8,000 or something like that, that got the golden ticket to go to Hollywood. And it was so stressful. And I'm not a person that is like gonna ham it up for the camera. I'm just not. I have never been that kind of person. I'm even a little bit like introverted in some ways. So that was difficult for me because there were so many people who were, anytime the camera was around, they were like, "Hey, look, over here." And I'm like, "Oh God, please don't." So I don't think that like reality TV like that is really my ideal situation, but it was a great experience. I made it to like the second round in Hollywood, which I was grateful for. I mean, everything you see on TV with that show is obviously, blown up a little bit, but it's real. And you go on no sleep and they're throwing stuff at you, and it's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy.
Sounds crazy.
Yeah.
So when you were on the show, did they ever air you? Because I know there's a lot of people who I know there's been a lot of people that I've been talking to, and they're saying they were part of American Idol. I'm like, oh, but I couldn't find anything when I looked it up. because we didn't get aired. I guess because there's so many people, they really pick and choose.
They do, and I do think that, people who have a more compelling story, I think that's a big, it's ratings too at the end of the day. But yeah, and in my audition, it's so funny. I went in with this. First of all, you audition for a number of producers before you get to the judges, and I got through all of those, and the last round before the TV judges was the executive producers. And it was maybe 11 o'clock that night on a Friday night, and I had to be back Saturday morning at 7 a.m. for like filming and to sing for the TV judges. And they were like, by the way, we think you should change your song. So don't do that song. We think you should do another one. And it's like, oh, okay, sure. So my audition, I kind of didn't do a great job with it. And before the judges could say anything, I was like, I'm so sorry. That was not, like, I was trying to be something I wasn't there. Can I just sing like a song that I love? And they were like, yeah, sure. So I sang Angel from Montgomery, which is a John Prine song that Bonnie Raitt sang as well. And they were like, Keith Urban was like, that's what I wanted to hear from you. I can't do a good Australian accent, but he was like, that's what I wanted to hear from you. And so then they sent me through.
That's amazing. I wish they would have aired that, but to have that experience, nonetheless, it's still the best, right?
Absolutely.
And now also, like the following year, I was reading that you made it to Nash Week's top 10, and then you had the honor of going on tour with Raelynn, who was another fellow country singer. What did you learn from that taste of the tour life?
It was, that was interesting too, because there were 10 of us, and a couple of them were duos or like bands. So that was just a whole nother kind of American Idol like experience in some ways, but we had so much fun, and it was really cool to have, I've played in bars and venues where there haven't been a whole lot of people. I've also been able to play in front of a lot of people. So I've been blessed to be able to see both sides of that. And it was just nice to have people in the audience. Raelynn was there. She was the headliner and everything. And she was so sweet. And it was just, I don't know, like I thought to myself, I could get used to this. And hopefully once all of this COVID stuff is over, hopefully that will be the case.
Then you can finally start touring and do your own shows, be the headliner of your own tour.
Yes.
Right? That's the goal here.
Yes, absolutely.
And now, Sydney, okay, before I let you go, we're going to play a little game I like to call Country with Celine Rapid Fire. So I'm going to shoot you out a couple questions, and then you answer them, and then we'll take it from there.
You got it.
Okay. First one is, what would be your favorite song to sing at karaoke?
Ooh, Any Man of Mine.
That is a good one. I could see you singing that one too. What would be your favorite Netflix binge?
Oh, well, if I'm being honest, it's The Office.
It is true. I, Michael Scott, am signing up with an online dating service. Thousands of people have done it, and I am going to do it. I need a username, and I have a great one. Little Kid Lover. That way people will know exactly where my priorities are at.
We are probably on the 8th round of all the way through from beginning to end. Like that's why I'm so excited about the Garth thing. I'm like, oh my gosh, we will have something else to watch besides The Office. This is great.
And it's 2 hours, so it's an extra 2 hours, and you got to find something else after that. What would be your dream travel destination?
Ooh, I'm dying to get to Italy. Obviously like anything warm and islandy is great, but Italy, there's just something so romantic about it, and we're gonna get there very soon, hopefully, but definitely I have a whole list, honestly. Like the scrolls, it's like Australia. I gotta get to Sydney, Australia at some point, because
your name is Sydney. You have to.
I have to.
Now, is your background Italian by chance or no?
You know, like a little bit, not as much as I thought it was, but I did the ancestry thing and found out that my grandma used to call me the United Nations, and that's pretty accurate. I'm like, everything. Found out I'm French, which I didn't know.
That's interesting.
Yeah, in fact, my lineage, you could trace it on my mom's side to Quebec, actually. They settled in Canada, and then, yeah.
You got a little Canadian in you too.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
We gotta love that, eh?
That's right.
And now, what would you say is your favorite thing that you love about your career?
For me, it is really seeing, especially more so now, is just seeing how my songs connect with people and can affect people. And I can't tell you how many messages I've received about Pretty Boy and Medicine especially, but how it's like, hey, you helped me, this song helped me get through it, or it made me feel like I wasn't alone because I see all of these other people have gone through it too. So I think for me, that's just connecting with people. I am a relationship person, and so just being able to make someone's day or make them feel like they're not alone, you know, that's been the biggest blessing for sure.
That's what music does. It can connect to people on a level that talking to someone doesn't happen.
Yep.
And now the last one is, what is a message that you would love to give your fans?
Thank you. You know, it is really difficult as trying to make it, you know, as an artist in any genre. But I think being a female especially is increasingly difficult. It's gotten better for sure, but you know, there are so many choices out there, I guess, really is the thing. And it's like, I'm so grateful that people have found my music and have found something in my music that makes them want to hear another one of my songs. You know, that's a really difficult thing, because you don't want to be like a one-hit wonder, or you don't want people to be like, well, I like that song, but you want people to like you as an artist and be excited about what you're ready to put out next and all of that kind of stuff. So I think it's really just thank you for being on this journey with me, because I have had the best time so far. Just the best time.
Honey, I don't think anyone is going to think of you as a one-hit wonder. So that doesn't even need to process through your head. But that's awesome. And I mean, it is all about the fans. It's all about connecting with them, because realistically, if it's not for the people listening to your music, you know what I mean? Kind of out of a job in a sense. But thank you so much, Sydney, for joining me today on Country with Celine. It was such a pleasure chatting with you. You're such a lovely girl, and I can't wait to hear Medicine and Dark Horse drop tomorrow, which is March 6th, people. Mark that down, pre-save right now, pre-order, and stream it when it's live. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been so much fun. Seriously, thank you.
I'm glad you said that. We'll do this again then.
Yes. This, like, I feel like we need some wine. We can really just, we should have had margaritas today, really.
You know what? I'm going to do that from now on. Next time I interview people, I'll have a glass of wine, margarita, tequila, something.
Yes, I'm in. Sign me up. Let's do it.